Hey, listen up, I've tried to tell you this 100 times. Not getting better by lying there pretending to cry. You on repeat, you can see, cause you have closed your eyes. You say you listen, but you're missing what it's all about. Rise up now. If you never fall, you don't change at all. Cry out now. Have you given up? I will never stop, yeah. I try to help you, but you keep reading between the lines. There's nothing there for you to complicate, we're not aligned. You say you listen, but guessing that's just another sign of growing up. You're growing old, your life keep passing by. Rise up now. If you never fall, you don't change at all. Cry out now. Have you given up? I will never stop, yeah. Now if you break it, I can take it, I don't need a prize. Leave out the fact that I am up against 1,000 guys. My intuition efficient, cause I can't use my mind. Don't try to tell me how it's done, you haven't done your time. Rise up now. If you never fall, you don't change at all. Cry out now. Have you given up? I will never stop, yeah. Rise up now. If you never fall, you don't change at all. Cry out now. Have you given up? I will never stop, yeah. Rise up now. If you never fall, you don't change at all. Cry out now. Have you given up? I will never stop, yeah.
Howdy doody. Welcome everybody. Good morning. It's a beautiful day here. It's hot. I don't know where you are or what time it is where you are, but it's morning here and we're having a great day so far. I got my hair cut. And I saw earlier Replay said she'd be listening. So hey Replay, you can't see me waving if you're only listening. Hey CLM, beautiful day in the neighborhood. Welcome Shalima. Betty Dan Boop, good to see you. Let's see. Everybody, please hit that like button as you come in, as you go out right now while you're still here. I would really, really appreciate that. It helps me so much. Hey, Angela. Clips and Pickles. Hey, JL, good to see you. Yeah, today we're going to talk about a couple of things, and I've got 2 questions for y'all for the Ask Barb segment. And I'm still waiting on more questions to come in, but we've got a good batch of them. And so we're going to do that here in a little bit. But first the first thing I want to talk about is why not Temu? So let me know who in here, hey, Tara with Trisha, who in here buys from Temu or wants to buy from Temu? Put a 1. And if you don't, if you're like, they send too many texts and they're in China and I'm scared, I don't want them to have all my data, put a 2. I'm on the 2 side. I'm on the 2 side. And we're going to go into why here in a minute. You do, Trisha? Okay. I don't want to hurt anybody's feelings, but I just want to I just want to talk about it because it's sort of like the TikTok thing. TikTok is owned in China, and they get your data. And it's one thing, like Walmart knows everything I've ever bought in my life, um, via, I don't even know. Like they know everything, whether it's in the store or online. So I'm not sure because I don't always use the same card. Hey, Lufa, but you don't trust Temu. But it's a whole different thing when a company that's owned by an enemy of the United States, which United States, they're in, we owe the United States owes them a ton of money, the Chinese, uh, or China, not the Chinese, but of China. Oh, you had a nightmare. Maybe you can tell us about that. So TikTok, they're trying to ban TikTok in the United States, but it's kind of hard, I think, on the internet to ban anybody. Like we've seen on YouTube how banning you can get around it. Yes, JL, I've heard their texts are terrible. And just because you get something cheap, a few dollars cheaper, there's all these things that come in there. So let's just get into it. I've actually just got a thing that I'm sort of kind of reading to y'all. I know that's not the best way to present things, but I'm really trying to get away from sharing other people's videos because it's just, you never know who's going to get mad about you, and I just don't want to have the back and forth about streaming another person's content, even doing commentary. I don't, you just never know what's going to happen with that. So anyway, today we're just talking, but the dark side of Temu is like there's hidden dangers. And so the first thing is counterfeit products. Now, Amazon can have counterfeit products, but like in Amazon, you can try to compete with Amazon, but Amazon's huge. And they have anywhere from big companies that they sell for down to people like me. I used to have an Amazon account, and it's like when you buy on Amazon, you don't know if you're buying from a reputable company or some fly by night person. I had people who would take my product and my product display on Amazon and somehow turn it to where that pointed at their product that was like mine, but it wasn't mine. And even though the products were probably the same because I ordered them in China, but I had my logo on them, so I could tell, I could tell. I would have to buy their product and then take pictures and show Amazon that they were cheating and that they were taking my product sales as their own. It's very hard to figure out what's going on. But when you're doing that on Temu, there's nobody to contact as far as, if you're a seller on there. And I think they do the same kind of thing. But the first thing the first warning is the counterfeit products. And like, I know they sell watches and fake Apple watches and stuff like that. For the most part, you get what you pay for. And so, but this says that the platform is notorious for its flood of fake and imitation goods, from designer handbags to electronics. You just don't know. You don't know what you're going to get. The next thing is the cybersecurity issue, like personal information. They have to have your credit card information or a debit card, some kind of pay card that you buy from them. And their security measures have been repeatedly called into question. And also, there's no Better Business Bureau like to go, to talk to them. Let me see who else is coming in. Craftastic, welcome. Good to see everybody. I think I've said hi. If I've missed you, Hummer Muffin, hey, good to see you. Pocket Sand, welcome. Guess I didn't go up far enough. Yeah, and so there are those kind of issues. We're going to keep going here. The compromised cybersecurity, because they've got your details and you don't know who is using your info and how, they may be selling it to people who will come back and scam you somehow. You really don't know. There's always that threat when we use a card online, and but they've been known to do. There's been known, like, a lot of known problems with Temu for that, and then it's a breeding ground for scammers, because there's security mess. I mean, there's no stringent seller verification. Now, when I was with Amazon, I ended up selling my Amazon account a couple of years after I stopped selling on there. I found out that I could sell my account because, in order to be, like, I don't know, it was, I guess it's to be, um, I mean, it could have been a scammer buying it, because, I mean, I went through someone that I kind of knew, and I don't know what they're going to do with it, but it was $3,000 and I needed it. So I did sell that. I think it's against terms of service to sell on Amazon, to sell your channel. So, or to buy, I could probably have a hard time going back on there to sell, but it was hard to sell on there, with the other people who were doing what they were doing. I sold a couple of different products at different times, and I did okay, but it wasn't, it's just, it's kind of like YouTube. You hit that wall with them and you can't, like, something happens and you can't talk to a person. Amazon was kind of like that. You can talk to a person there as a seller. This was years ago though, but I don't, it wasn't effective for me to do anymore. So they get your personal information, your credit card details, your address, your buying habits, and things like that. And so, the unethical labor practices. When you buy products from China, you don't know what the people making that, because they're known to have forced labor, and harsh working conditions, long hours. It's not like the United States, where we have rules and all this to cover it. If you buy from a reputable brand, I mean, most of the time they have oversight into who is making their products. I know a guy in Little Rock who has a big, he sells, you would know the brand if I said it, and that's his company. And he and his son actually learned Mandarin Chinese to go there a couple times a year and look at where this, talk with them and see where his products are being made. And so you have some oversight. I sold stuff for Zaya Activewear a few years ago, and they also go to China and have and they look at the place that's making their stuff. So with Temu, you have none of that. A lot of that you don't have with Amazon either. I guess the biggest difference is that, for me, is the cybersecurity and the fact that there's no oversight for a Chinese company who could do anything with your stuff. And then I've heard all people talking about. Let me see if Lufa, are you going to tell us what happened? I'd love to know. Or Betty Damboop, I think. I don't know. Whoever has had a bad Lufa said she did. Let's see. It's Temu is cheap junk, Cheryl Lutz. And I've heard that, a lot of it you can get at the dollar store or Dollar Tree and stuff. And, I've bought stuff at the Dollar Tree that was just as cheap as it could be, but it served a purpose at the time. But I would rather go to the Dollar Tree and buy a piece of junk and look at it than order it on Temu. And it's like Wish. I mean, they joke and say, you order a car on Wish and you get this little Matchbox car or something. It's just, hey, Pocket Stan, good to see you again. Tarot with Trisha. You haven't bought in a few months. I know that it's very popular on YouTube to go in and do a product, what do they call that? Unboxing. They sell personal info. Yeah, I think that there's a lot, the US, there's companies here that do the same thing. And we're not really safe from cyber stalking. And I mean, I get 10 spam calls a day. In fact, my hair stylist had called me this morning, and I thought, I didn't have it. I don't have his number. We don't talk, privately on the phone or anything. And he asked me if I wanted I don't know, a coffee drink. He was going to go by McDonald's, and I didn't get it until I got to his shop and looked at my phone, because I looked at my watch and I'm like, what? I thought that was because you get so many spam callers every day. Hey, Shalima, you're listening? A 5-year-old is probably, yeah, you've got kids making products. You've got other employees who are just, it's like slave labor, and they don't have the 40-hour a week limits that we have. They don't have the working conditions. The pay is horrible. Before I was permanent banned on Facebook. Yeah, I think that we're like, because you can talk about um anything that I talk about today, I'll start getting ads for it. I'll probably start getting a bunch of Temu things. I just never opened the app, and I just never downloaded the app. I don't want 1,000 texts all day telling me that I can save 20% off of something that's only $1 anyway. I mean, yeah, I think it probably is, but I still don't want a company that's based in China to be having all my information. That's just me. Probably. Did you throw a tassel in their face? Paid dove wages. Yeah. Yeah. The bottom line of any business is to make money. And that's why I don't call my channel a business because I barely, I don't get to $100 very, very often and that's how you have to get to $100 to get paid on YouTube. And so, I spend a whole lot of time. It feels like a job because I spend a lot of time on my channel, but the money's not there for me yet. And so it's still fun. And oh, you had a nightmare about orange bags? Mark Z. It's too clingy. Yeah, all those you get all those text all day long, and then spin the wheel and do, and I'm just, no, I don't want to do that. Um, it's weird. It's weird how this um everything is electronic now, and I rarely buy anything at a store except food. I don't order my food delivered. Um, Even I had to get something for my computer recently at I got it at Best Buy, and I actually ordered it online because I don't want to, why go get out and go in the store. I didn't really have on my nicer shorts and stuff, and I didn't really want to go to the store, so I just ordered curb pickup. Uh, I could have had it delivered. It would have taken another 5 or 6 days, so I just drove over there. You got rid of it. Yeah, I don't blame you. It would just be horrible to me. So I'm a minimalist. Yeah, and I don't want a bunch of stuff around. I don't want a bunch of junk around here because it's, what you ideally could do is every time you bring something new in other than food, is to get rid of something. And I'm not real good about that. Hey, Tweety, good to see you. I'm sorry about your doggy. You want to hear this? Okay. Yeah, Kmart. I used to shop at Kmart a lot. But I hate clutter, and I don't want my information to be given to Temu. So keep all that in mind. That is is precisely what what we're looking at with Temu. And if you don't believe that anything can happen, and just read up about it. And also, if you're a humanitarian, if you have empathy for other people, and just because these people live in China doesn't mean that they should be treated as less than us. And for me to get a bargain on a piece of junk that may or may not work when we get it, I've heard they're pretty good about returns. I've also seen packages that came in just all beat up, and then the stuff isn't quite as nice as it looks online. But I think there's probably a lot of it that's worth having, but I'm just not willing to put up with the risk and the constant texting me and trying to get me to buy something. So, you do car pickup? Yeah, I'm sorry to hear about your dog, Tweety. That's scary. Hey, Brandy, good to see you. We're having a great day over here. We're having some fun. Now, my toxic trait is not returning anything I take. Yeah, and I did that. I almost did that recently. I bought a couple of shirts. They were children's sizes, and I've bought children's sizes before. They were a couple of shirts, and I bought children's shirts in other brands before, and they were great and everything, but these were just a little bit too small. So I thought, well, I'll just donate them to you know somewhere, and I should have, but I didn't want to go anywhere and do that. I did get my refund. I just decided to get a refund because they were on sale, and I still spent, like, I don't know, $25, and I was just like, I'm not somebody here who can just give away brand new stuff because I don't want to do a return. So I did it. So we're going to switch gears now. We've filled you in a little bit. I know 20 minutes is pretty quick to discuss this, but I want to keep this show moving and informative, and we're going to learn stuff along the way, and we're going to uh just discuss things. So the next thing, we're going to talk about passive aggressive behavior. And I think a lot of people don't really know what passive aggressive behavior is because I see it used a lot. I get called that on here. And I think maybe sometimes I probably am passive aggressive because I don't want to go and I don't want to fight and argue back and forth. So maybe because I do. I just, like, even yesterday, somebody came in before we even started talking about, you're passive aggressive. And I'm like, well, I don't know. I have a degree in psychology, but I couldn't diagnose somebody else. But, well, you're smarter than me. So you must be right. No. What is passive aggressive? It is defined as behavior that is seemingly innocuous, accidental, or neutral, but that indirectly displays an unconscious aggressive motive. Now, I don't believe that I'm being aggressive, but I will say things without specifying who I'm talking about because it's a problem. Like, we have problems on YouTube, and with people in real life sometimes. So this says that if you're passive aggressive, you're indirectly aggressive rather than being directly aggressive. For instance, passive aggressive behavior can appear in the form of resistance to another person's request by procrastinating, expressing sullenness, or acting stubbornly. So, I mean, as far as YouTube goes, you can't really do that on YouTube. Let me see what y'all are saying, because I did CLM. I changed it to welcome friends today. I did change that CLM. What's the difference between passive aggressive and sarcastic? I think they may be related, but we're going to keep, hey, Ginger, we're going to keep keep going and see if they'll explain that to us. And I know I can be a sarcastic heifer. I know that. Someone who is passive aggressive often lets others take control, while someone who is aggressive is more confrontational or directly forceful. So, someone who is passive aggressive exerts their control over situations in a less direct or recognizable way. Here's some signs of passive aggressive behavior: ghost you or seemingly disappear. I don't do that. I got accused of that, but I don't do that. Give you a backhanded compliment. I saw you did the dishes. I was surprised. Now that's an obvious, like, you know, that's an obvious, you can read into that. I was surprised because you never do the damn dishes, right? I mean, you get that. Give you the silent treatment. Well, I know my parents did that all the time. Silent treatment, they would fight and then they would do the silent treatment, but I'm not doing that either. Indirectly refuse your request. Not tell you no, but also not do what you've asked. No, that's not me. I don't know if this is any of y'all or what you think passive aggressive is, but I see people using it on the internet and I just don't think they know. Make excuses rather than say what is on their mind. No, I'm pretty much say what's on my mind. Procrastinate again. Respond to your request with sarcasm or subtle digs. That might be me. Pocket sand. You don't think I'm passive aggressive? I think it was Lufa. Yes. So sarcasm is part of that. You can put a few names to passive aggressive. Yeah. I mean, hey, Bones, you do what you can. I don't give out compliments, but okay with giving out a backhand. Yeah, I can give out a backhand and compliment too. You do. Now see, okay, so that might be passive aggressive, Angela. But if that's the worst thing I ever do is make an imaginative infomercial. I love making those. They're so much fun. Love them. Hey, Selma, love them. Someday we're going to hit it big with one of those. Maybe I should do one about what I heard today. When you get your hair cut, sometimes you hear things about people. So a passive aggressive person might repeatedly claim that they are not mad or that they are fine, even when they are apparently furious and obviously not okay. If you're denying your feelings and you're being closed off and not emotionally open, and then shut down people and refuse, to answer. I mean, I'll talk to anybody, right? But if I don't want to directly talk to somebody because I don't like them and I don't like the way they talk to people and I don't want to go back and forth and hear them yell and scream, yeah, I might say something not aggressive, but a little bit passive without naming anybody because they need to shut the fuck up. I mean, I can be a nasty ass bitch too. You ask them to do something and they tell you they will, but they drag their feet and never wind up doing it or give you a sarcastic response. Giving you the silent treatment, they seem angry, but yeah, you say nothing's wrong. They seem angry, but you ask them what's going on and they will to your face say, "Oh, I'm fine. There's nothing going on." That's passive aggressive. They pout, sigh loudly, or otherwise exhibit behaviors that they are not happy. I'm not happy. Slamming cupboard doors. Oh my goodness, that sounds just like my mother. She used to slam the dishes and the stuff in the kitchen. And when she was mad, and I can't stand that now. I can't stand that kind of noise. That's what she did. And then she and my father wouldn't talk for weeks. So I know what they're saying. Now I'm saying, oh, my mother was passive aggressive or probably still is. Right. And so, yeah, the slamming of the cupboard boards, even though they don't express unhappiness verbally, They complain about situations with other people that bother them as a means to indirectly say that they're unhappy when these same situations occur with you. So if I like use an example of my neighbor did such and such when I really was talking about, oh, let's say Betty Boop, and Betty Boop did that, but I'm saying, well, my neighbor did so and so when Betty Boop did the same thing. And I'm saying that to Betty Boop because I don't want to go, Betty Boop, why did you do that? And they keep score. They keep score talking about how they do so many things for other people, yet they don't get the same treatment in return. A passive aggressive person might repeatedly make excuses to avoid certain people as a way of expressing their dislike or anger toward those individuals. If someone is being passive aggressive in a marriage, you would be asking your spouse like to empty the dishwasher, and they tell you they will, and then they never do it, or they do it at the last minute. Like you want it done and you're waiting on it to get done, and they said they would do it. I had somebody I lived with, and I wouldn't clean behind her because she wouldn't do any of the housework. And would leave stuff in the sink, like she'd use stuff in the sink, and I would leave it. And then her mother would come over when we weren't there and start cleaning the house. And I'm like, I left that there for a reason. So maybe she would do it. If someone is being passive aggressive at work, they may be sarcastic with coworkers or not finish their work on time. Oh, I had a guy who didn't do that. Are y'all seeing any of these traits as people that you know, and people that you see? Yeah, if you want something done right, do it yourself. My husband knows if I say I'm fine when he asks something is wrong, to be on guard. Yeah. Yeah. So I'm learning. Obviously, I'm learning today that, oh, my mom, she's passive aggressive. She's a perfect prime example of it. So, probably whoever came in and said that about me, maybe I am a little passive aggressive. I don't know. Is that a sin? Some researchers theorize that passive aggressive behavior can stem from being raised in an environment where the direct expression of emotions was discouraged or not allowed. Let's put that on my bingo card. That's me. Bingo. Family upbringing. Mental health status. Research has found a connection between depression and passive aggressive behaviors. Well, I have depression towards oneself. It's thought that this is due to the combination of the person's attitude, how they explain in negative situations, and how they respond to distress. Situational circumstances. Situational, like on YouTube here, we argue at people and we talk directly about people, but then, they clap back and stuff. It doesn't matter if you're just if you're a subscriber or you have a channel, all that stuff happens. And you hear about it in these, passive aggressive ways. I think a lot of YouTubers use passive aggressive talk. I think we do. I think a lot of us do. Being assertive and emotionally open is not always easy. When standing up for yourself, it's difficult or even scary. I'm not afraid to be assertive or stand up for myself personally, but we're not talking about just me here. We're talking about everybody. And then it might seem like an easy way to deal with your emotions without having to confront the source of your anger. Like, can you imagine somebody on here says a bunch of stuff about you and a bunch of lies about you, and you don't want to match their verbal vomit by going back at them? So maybe you say something about, these people, they did this and this and this, and not use their names and stuff. I don't know if that's really passive aggressive, but anyway, in recap, passive aggressive behaviors can be a result of upbringing, mental health status, the situation, or being uncomfortable with confrontation. So, do you want to know how to deal with passive aggressive people? Let's see what they say. Recognize the signs of such behavior: sulking, backhanded compliments, procrastination, withdrawal, and refusal to communicate. Those are passive aggressive behaviors. Not yet, Barb. Avoidance behavior. Yeah, that's another thing too. Would avoiding someone who is toxic and affects your mental health? Yeah, see, I don't think that's passive aggressive, and I don't think that I think it's smart to not go back and forth with somebody who's toxic. And I think that whether it's passive aggressive or sarcasm or just being a bitch, if you're smart enough to avoid getting involved in a situation, it's really what I'm thinking. Like, I'm avoiding toxicity. Not toxicity of social media. She's my friend, but toxicity of social media, meaning this toxic waste dump that some of social media is, YouTube and all that stuff. So I'm not going to stop avoiding this behavior just because somebody calls me a name, because I'm going to still stand up for me and do what I consider what's best for me in the moment. Um, you know. So those are the again, I'm reading them. This will be the third time. The first step is to recognize the signs of such behavior: sulking, backhanded compliments, procrastination, withdrawal, and refusal to communicate. So I'm very able to communicate. If somebody wants to communicate with me, they're fine to. But like on YouTube, I'm not going to jump up on somebody's panel and talk to them when they're mad and stuff, because like I just don't go on people's panels. I mean, it's been a year since I've been on panels, or don't go looking back and see exactly what day it was, because it's been a good amount of time. It's been close to a year. Try to keep, this is how you react to this behavior, is try to keep your anger in check. Point out the other person's feelings in a way that's non-judgmental yet factual. Factual. If you're dealing with a child or a childish adult who is clearly upset about having to do chores, for example, you might say, "You seem to be angry at me for asking you to clean your room." Well, yeah, I just if you're able to recognize these signs, then you're able to realize that this person is upset with you, and maybe you should leave them alone, right? Or go do the damn dishes. Get that dishwasher going. Recognize your own passive aggressive behaviors. Do you often find yourself sulking when you are unhappy with someone? Do you avoid people with whom you are upset? Do you ever stop talking to people when you are angry with them? Do you put off doing things as a way to punish others? Do you use sarcasm to avoid engaging in meaningful conversations? I don't know. Do y'all? Does anybody? Let me check over here. Toxic people. All right. Now, give yourself time to make changes. Recognizing your own behaviors is a good first step. Be patient with yourself as you work to reduce your passive aggressive responses and learn to express your feelings appropriately so that you can take a step towards ending passive aggressive behaviors. Conflict is an unavoidable part of life, but knowing how to assert your feelings effectively can result in better resolutions. How do you like them apples? So that's basically it in a short 20-ish minute nutshell, right? What do y'all think? Who are not, no, I don't want anybody's names, but do you avoid let me turn my ringer off. Do you avoid people, and do you do that kind of thing like in real life or on YouTube? Do you say, like you could talk about another person when you really mean this person that you don't like or that you're mad at and use that example, that's probably all a lot of that probably is passive aggressive and not not necessarily a big problem. But Selma, I'm all out avoiding toxic people for my own well-being. Yeah, in real life, I mean, hey, Lotus Flower, I have not seen you in so long. Good to see you. Yeah, and I think so. I think there's lines here where um assertive, as someone who's been called mousy, the only time I've been called mousy was on YouTube by another YouTuber. And this particular YouTuber, would say I'm mousy, but I couldn't say they're fat because those are both, bullying words. But I don't, that's just dumb. It's just dumb. Hey, Ginger. Yeah, well, I see, and I grew up, I was just all that passive aggressive was my mother. I didn't realize that was the word for it. She does that and did that when I was all growing up. So I mean, it's ingrained in me. So there's no doubt that I have some behavior that's passive aggressive. Now, now, let's do a couple of these Ask Barb comments that we got, and let's talk about them. How about that? Okay, the first one today is Dear Barb, I can help. This is going to, y'all are going to have to help me with this one. You guys are going to have to help me answer this one because this one is weird. Dear Barb, I can't help but deeply cringe every time I hear him on the phone. Oh, this person says her husband speaks. This is how her husband speaks to his parents. I can't help but deeply cringe every time I hear him on the phone referring to his parents as mommy and daddy. He only does it when speaking to them or to his brother. For example, what's daddy up to? Can you ask mommy to do XYZ? I just feel like it's a bit of a turn off. A bit, you think? Did somebody just make that question up? A bit of a turn off? Oh, wow, Pocket Sand. Partners of narcs and alcoholics. Yeah, because you have to be or you'll get your face knocked off. What do y'all think? If your husband, just imagine if you had a husband, whether you're male or female, just this person in your life, called their parents mommy and daddy, an adult. Oh, some of y'all might do that, but I think it's weird. Mommy and daddy. Yeah, Lotus Flower, lots of those. Anybody? Like, I know some families are really close and that's just a word that they've just always used and you'd run, Lufa. Yeah, me too. And it's just a word that they've always used, but it's cringy. Okay, y'all think it's cringy too? I think it's cringy as F. Mom and dad, right. I call mine I've mom and dad and then we've called my dad when he got grandkids, they call him Pop or Papa. So, I sometimes call him Pop or Dad, but Daddy and Mommy, I think I left that behind when I was 5. I don't know, but I would freak me out if I heard a man calling. It would be cringy for me. And so I'm telling this person like, run. If that's the only thing they do that's weird like that, maybe it'd be okay. But for me personally, to the person who asked me that question, I would totally not want to hang around with this guy. You broke up because of the way he said fantastic? Your daughter still calls you mommy? Now, a woman doing it, I think maybe that's, you know, maybe that's wrong because I don't think it's right for a man, but it's okay for a woman. And I don't know. I think a little bit less cringy for a woman. But it's one thing too to call you that, you know, face to face, than to all. I don't know, to use that as my mom. Like if you're talking about, um, like you're talking about them, and you're like, "Mommy said," I don't know. It just sounds very childish. Um, yeah, I do, but I do think women are and daughters are different. What about spouses who call their other spouse mommy or daddy? Yeah, I hear that. I hear other spouses say that. I mean, when they're talking, they've got children or even grown children. Yeah, that's weird too. And if y'all do it, hey, I'm sorry. I think it's just a little odd. Sound is very important to me. I'm on the spectrum, right, Lufa? I gotcha. Mama lady, daddy man, and mama lady. Yeah, it's less cringy for women to call you that, and sounds and smells. I would die if my hubby called me mom. Yeah, Hummer Muffin, I see. I mean, I remember growing up and being at friends' homes, and um, I've just heard that. It seems like to me that's more of a. I don't think it's something a lot of young people today would use, the mommy and daddy, when they're older, but I might be wrong, but it just seems like I'm from the age of Leave It to Beaver and Andy Griffith, and so, the children were the one of the main reasons for having life was to have a lot of kids, and I just think in our society now that people are not having as many children, and it's not the same. Well, it's definitely not the same kind of environment. Oh, it's a southern thing too. Okay, well, I'm in the South, so that makes sense for that. I think it's weird, but again, I think if a woman does it, it's going to be less. But if I was with a man and he did that, I guess but it really would depend on how he. Where's your daddy? Yeah, I've asked my dogs, where's your daddy, a lot, because they don't have a daddy. Oh, and referring to oneself in the third person. That's true too. Pookie. Pookie, Pookie, Pookie. Don't leave, Lufa. Okay, we got another question. This is gross. And I think this person was just making this up. Dear Scoop, my friend says she lost 5 pounds in one day. I told her that's just water weight, not fat. But get this. She then said that she had been constipated, was able to poop that day, and that's how it happened. What do you think? Well, I think it's very possible to lose 5 pounds in one day if you are constipated, because a lot of your what's stuck is water weight, right? And it's very easy to lose. uh it's too much information. Exactly. Ask Google. Why are you asking me? So this reminded me, because back when we first had the internet, my sister and we've gone through spells where we were closer than we are now. We're not close at all, but we all first got chat rooms and all this stuff back in the day, and we both went on keto or Atkins at the time. We went on Atkins, and the Atkins diet, which is low carb. And so we were at our me at my home and her at hers. We got on this chat room, and we were being funny. These people were in there talking about being they were on Atkins, but it made them constipated, and people were talking about having a big one that day. And we got in there, hey Welsh, and we got on there, and we just started saying that, oh, I just lost 8 pounds today. We were being stupid. This was like, gosh, I was too old to be doing that kind of stuff, but it was fun. We had a good time. I believe anyone that drinks milk as a thirst quencher is a psychopath. Really? What do y'all think? Can you lose 5 pounds in a day? Have you ever gotten like, um, you feel lighter if you're bloated and constipated. You are. Um, you are. Excuse me just a second. Oh. No, I have my phone ringer off so that I can't be bothered. Oh, you did after giving birth? Right. Well, um, if you're trying to lose weight, if you're on a diet, and well, I really worked with this a few years ago when I was a personal trainer, and I actually lost like 12 pounds myself, which is a lot because I mean I got down to like as low as maybe even lower than I should. I was, it wasn't like that Eugenia girl that has anorexia, and she is on YouTube all the time. And yeah, I quit drinking milk too. Yeah, it's mostly water, and you can definitely lose that much weight. 5 pounds. You could lose, you might could lose that just being, bloated from eating the wrong. 'Cause I lost a pound and a half the other day, and it wasn't because I took a big one. It was because I have cut some things out of my diet. Like I haven't had any bread in a couple weeks, and I switched out. I was eating, um, potatoes, and I haven't had any potatoes, and I've been eating Brussels sprouts and carrots because they're filling and healthy, and they have fewer calories. And so just those changes have, without starving myself or giving up anything else, I actually lost a little bit of weight, and I don't feel bloated. So I'm going to keep doing that because a starvation diet will never work. It'll work until it stops, right? And or it'll work until you stop, and then when you stop, you gain all that back, because I was on a diet that helped me to lose a lot of weight and got my calorie count way down. But the food, I didn't want to eat it anymore. It was actually supplements and stuff. And then the weight just kind of gradually came, along with me not exercising because of my sciatica and everything. But I got to get back out there soon. As soon as this temperatures will get, like fall again. The human body lacks the essential enzymes to break down milk. Yeah, I've given up milk too. I used to drink milk. The doctor said that's the best health tip she could give me. Which one, Lufa? To take fiber? So, okay, and after surgery, so when you're in surgery, your body will retain fluid. So, yeah, you could do that. So that makes sense. Okay. I'm glad you're chuckling. Take fiber so you don't get hemorrhoids. Lufa. Well, and if you're on, like I was on these pain meds for my back that I quit taking, but those will stop you up. 8 pounds in 1 week from eating just sprouts. Oh, you never drank milk. Eugenia is also a TikTok, and yes, and she's very, very ill looking. And she hits the mainstream media a lot because um she's just over the top with the way she is. And how is she I mean, a year ago I talked about her one day and showed her on, you know restreamed her a little bit and stuff, and I don't know how she lives like that, because she's not getting nutrients. And she's got a mother. I watched a video yesterday that they were comparing her to um the Dixie and her mother case. Took a big one. I know, Brandy. Yes, I did. I said that. 2014, I was Slimmer of the Year. I lost 8 stones. Um, May sent someone wants hemorrhoids. You give them something to play with. Love Brussels sprouts. And I didn't. I'm not a Brussels sprouts eater, but when I saw somebody, actually, it was a news article. It was a little news blurb about a TikToker who was eating carrots and Brussels sprouts with some chicken every day. And she lost a whole bunch of weight and said she's a heavy, and that she's always been a big, heavy eater, eats a lot, and she's doing that. Well, see, if you're getting your nutrients and you're eating enough food, which is why, like with keto, it's not healthy because you're not getting all the nutrients you need. And also, you can get stopped up from that too, the eating meat all the time. If you need to put on, you stop working. If you need to put on weight, try the pot pie diet. I love homemade chicken pot pie. I can make a good one, but that's a lot of, yes. And they do mess up your metabolism. That's right, Ginger. Hey, Cassandra Troy. You mean you're at a job? Y'all caught me talking about people want instant gratification without putting in the work and effort. No secret to weight loss. Eat less calories than you're burning, period. Yes, I agree with that. And also within that, you don't want you want the calories you eat to be good and stick to your ribs. Like when I was eating a potato at lunch, I was hungry a couple hours later. I'm eating Brussels sprouts and carrots now, and I'm not getting hungry for another couple of hours. So I'm added a couple of hours to when I start wanting supper. Yeah, I'm really enjoying y'all in chat today. This is good. I love having this show every day. Now I'm like, then yesterday I was like, oh crap, I just committed to every day, 5 days a week, plus Sundays to go live. How am I going to come up with enough topics? I love Brussels sprouts. Hey, Mel, whatever. The girl world. Yeah, but that's just not healthy. There you go, Lufa. Yeah, limiting carbs and but if you look at the calorie count, like I had a choice between broccoli or Brussels sprouts, and I don't like broccoli. But they have a little bit different properties and vitamins, but I think, I was even looking up, do I have glucose intolerance or wheat intolerance, because because I don't have stomach pain or any of these problems like that. It's just that I noticed when I eat certain things that I would feel bad. And so also some of these foods are they cause inflammation and I have problems with pain. So I try to eat like not, but also, I mean, seriously, the Brussels sprouts have helped me with my digestion. We'll just call it that. Not a big one, but we'll just call it that because I mean, really, I wasn't having a problem necessarily, but I've just found that they've been just the right thing for me. Carbs destroy your stomach. Yeah, it is true, Ginger. It's good. I'm feeling it. I'm feeling up and ready to take on my channel here. I'm having a good time. And eat nutrient rich foods seem to help curb my hunger. Yeah, that's true because and the hey Marianne Bays. Yeah, that's true. If you go to a restaurant and the portion size you get is like enough for two. There's a place that I love fried chicken livers, but I don't like to cook them because it's a huge mess. And there's a place I get them, and there's enough for 2 meals in there, and that's without eating the bread because the place that used to own it, they had the best like homemade roll in there, one roll, and I would split the whole thing up and have 2 whole meals with it. But this place now that took over the location, they just put a piece of white bread in there. Well, I'm not eating that, so I might feed it to my worms. That was supposed to say, "Oh my God, OG seems okay though." No, and I'm really but there's some carbs in your veggies. If you go on Atkins or keto or whatever, you're going to have some carbs, but I'm just aiming to really cut mine way out and but not do all that. And I'm just eating better right now, and I just feel a whole lot better. Obviously the sleep has just changed my mood. I wasn't getting my sleep. I started going to bed at lights out at 9 p.m. Last night I got 8 hours sleep on the dot. One night I got over 9 hours of sleep. I, I don't think I've gotten below 6 since I started that a couple weeks ago, and I feel like a new person. It's so important. And we all need different amounts of sleep. So what I'm trying to do is get 8, and other people might need 5, but for me that's working really good. Oh, you get pain from Brussels sprouts? You mean like they mess with your stomach? Um, oh, I haven't had any bacon with mine because I'm trying to eat healthy, and bacon's, I mean, that's one thing about keto. You can go on keto. And why are we talking about diets? How do we get on this? But you can go on keto and never be hungry and just eat all that meat and stuff. But man, it's going to stop you up. Celiac disease. Yeah, eating slow is good for you. Um, you were ginger. Grains are calming. Love cooking, hate food. Wow. Now, hmm. Well, I think everybody should eat what makes them feel good. Hey, Kellyanne, you just eat veg. Yeah, you got to have carbs. And so for years, my morning breakfast has been oatmeal, and oatmeal is good for you if you don't add a bunch of fattening stuff to it. So I've also not been eating oatmeal. Every now and then I'll have oatmeal, but I've been eating 2 eggs in the morning, and those seem to keep me full longer than the oatmeal, although I've always thought oatmeal kept me full longer. Like it's 11:11, I ate breakfast at around around 7 a.m. So 4 hours ago, and I'm not feeling hungry. But I have a little bit of issues with my blood sugars too. Yes, good sleep is sacred, and I am not going back on my sleep like I now. On Saturdays, I'm not going to get all my sleep because of football right now. But every other day, I'm going to bed. A few days, I haven't gotten the lights out at 9 or fallen right to sleep, but I'm getting better with it. You've been foraging your food. Yeah, you have been finding a lot of food. 12 hours of beauty sleep. You need to put on weight. Okay, well, eat a lot of food. I mean, I'm not meaning to laugh, but and I know that's a problem. I know that people who need to put on weight, oftentimes, um, it is a problem for them to do that. Yes, and drink a lot of water, and of course, no alcohol. That's going to help you lose weight if you're a drinker. Uh, you have an eating disorder, and I just saw where on the creators studio, or I don't remember exactly what it's called, but we just got a video yesterday from YouTube talking about how now they're going to allow certain things to be talked about on YouTube and get advertising, whereas they weren't. And I think that they're looking more into the eating disorder field because they don't want that to be pushed on people. And what were the other things? It was things that normally you couldn't get monetized because of content, but they're allowing that as long as it's for educational purposes and not like calling somebody names with it. Yeah, that does sound fun, Ginger. So anyway, the answer to that question, the short answer is that yes, you can um lose 5 pounds in a day, and you need to realize that's water weight. So if you, and not because you drank too much water, that's not the problem. It's that your body's retaining the fluids because it's hard to drink too much water. You eat little bits all day. Lufa's haters are going to starve during the apocalypse, and Lufa will be in a position of power. I'm going to head to Lufa's house when we have the apocalypse, or a watermelon field. That would work. Well, it only worked part of the year, though, wouldn't it? Just the mushrooms you gathered, it costs. Yes. Yes, food is expensive, and if you can find your own. I just don't know about mushrooms, like which ones to get. Be nice or you'll starve. That's right, Lufa. All right, guys. Well, that's all we have today. Like I said, I want to keep these close to an hour because I think that helps with the replays too. People who don't like, if I don't know about y'all, let me know what y'all think. When I'm on YouTube and somebody's been live and I'm looking at their, even like these people that are DUI, I love to watch those DUI things, and they're 2 hours and something long, or some of these live streams that are 6 or 8 hours long. I don't have my attention span short anyway. And I don't want to commit to watching a 2 hour live stream unless I'm in that live stream and in chat and everything, which is a lot about live streaming. But what do y'all think? Do you watch pre, live, excuse me, do you watch lives after they've been done and you go back and watch the replay? I know a lot of us do, but are you more turned off if it's a longer one than like over an hour? That's how I feel. Survival foods, Kellyanne. Don't take mushrooms from a weird Aussie woman. Them thirsty folks will be starving too. The fun hour, it goes fast, doesn't it? Maybe we should do 2 hours, but no, I don't think that yeah, I do too. Like, put it on a 2 times speed. There are some creators that you can't listen to on 2 times speed, and some things you can't watch on 2 times speed. Depends on the topic. Helps you to sleep. Oh, I don't watch 4-hour replays. Yeah, okay. I watch replays when I'm bored, especially because I miss so much of chat when I'm in chat. Well, that, too, is I think sometimes when I've been in chats where we're talking about all these things and the creators up there talking about something totally different and people are just chatting. I think people do enjoy live streams because they, it's a sense of community. And that's why I chose to get back into, doing this regularly, because I'm trying to build a community. And so the haters will watch the entire thing. Well, I'm not trying to get a bunch of haters around. I'm happy with people who are fun and enjoy my content and don't hate me, because if you hate me, then you're not going to like anything I say. And also, when people think that you're talking about them when you don't say anything about them or insinuate anything. I mean, if I make a video and it resembles you and I didn't put anything in there to make sure that you knew it resembled you, either, visually or, or in my words, the reason you think I made it about you is because it reflects who you are. And if it's I've just had that happen a few times. Hate is a dedicated watch. Did that today end up, I don't know what you're talking about, Star Trek. People want to see if you say their name. Well, yeah, that's true. A tiny bit. Yeah, so day 2, we've made it through 2 of these and it's been a little fun. I hope you learned a little bit from it. And I got to get busy now working on other things for my channel, and hopefully you guys will be back tomorrow. I don't know what we're talking about tomorrow, but I'll come up with something. If you ever have something that you want me to talk about, send me an email at thescoopwithbarb@gmail.com and I'll look into that. I'm open. Thank you, Hummer Muffin. And we'll cover, it's just going to be different stuff every day. But the Ask Barb is going to be a part. I'm thinking about making a little intro for it. And thanks, Welsh. Thanks, Kellyanne. Thanks, Lufa. Thanks, Lotus Flower. Yeah, I'm glad y'all are enjoying it. And I'll see y'all tomorrow. Take care of yourself. Bye.